Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Smith. I'm Group Managing Director for People2People in Australia and Frog Recruitment in New Zealand. It's Friday afternoon, which means at 12:30 in Sydney, which means it's People2People's Employment Market Update live here on Facebook, YouTube and LinkedIn. Today we're working from the Sydney CBD office, which is currently going through a little bit of a refurb at the moment. But we're live from the new podcast room, and I'm sitting here with Kirsten Garrett, who'll be talking to us a little bit later about her blog post and a couple of jobs that she's got on at the moment. But it's been a really wet week in Sydney. It's been pretty amazing, actually, and a shout out to everybody who's actually suffering through these floods on the mid-north coast. Our own James Dalton up there on the mid-north coast, still working and placing people into fabulous opportunities at the moment, but flooded in. And also Ariane Rees, who's our People and Culture Manager on the other side of the Hawkesbury. But I think we've actually got a picture or a video which from the Warragamba Dam from the Sydney Water, I think, Jaden, if you want to pop that up. Remember, a little while ago, it was only at 30%. But that's not what we're here for today. We're actually here to talk through the employment market. So we'll go through our regular numbers section, where this week we'll have a little bit of an international flavour on that. We've got a job of the week from Kellie from our Melbourne team. And we've got some more opportunities with Kirsten, as I mentioned before. And finally, our weekly Twitter poll with the results from last week. So we can see your comments. They come up on screen here. So if you've got any comments, then please go pop them in the comments section in Facebook, YouTube or LinkedIn, and we can see those and we'll get back to you live during the broadcast. But let's first start with our numbers section. So numbers this week, we're going to go for a little bit of an international flavour with these numbers. And what I'd really like to talk to you about first is the Indeed numbers. And I think if you could pop those up for me, Jaden. I just can't seem to see them here. Right, okay, so you can see there on the screen that this is the Australian Composite Business Conditions Index. And thanks to Indeed for tweeting this earlier. And I really wanted to show this to give a little bit of a flavour to how we're tracking here in Australia versus the international perspective. Red is the US. They have business conditions has roared back, although there's still lockdowns going on there. Australia is second. The Eurozone and Japan is in the doldrums. The Eurozone is coming back despite their issues there. The second slide, if you could pop that up, is specifically from the US. And you can see here the different industry sectors in the US that are performing better than others. Now, the reason I wanted to show you this, because I was quite surprised that the number one sector in contributions to GDP in the US is finance and insurance. Secondly, healthcare, then administrative and management. And you can see down the bottom the ones that we would expect. Accommodation and food services, but educational services way down the bottom. And finance insurance was the one that stood out for me, particularly in the US at this time, and because we're not really seeing that in the Australian marketplace. The final number I'd like to show you, or the numbers I'd like to show you, is the unemployment rate in the UK, which I've been really surprised by. And so you can see here, this is from the Guardian, so thanks to them for the graphic. But the UK unemployment rate is just under or just 5%. So, but really, we were up at 7.5. Everyone was expecting double figures, and you can see those numbers previously in 2010. What is really evident about this number in the UK is that despite COVID, despite the recession, they have managed to keep people in work, and they've used this wage subsidy that they've got in the furlough legislation that they've got in the UK to really keep people in work. And it seems to have worked fabulously, although I'm sure the government is in a lot of debt. And you can see that clearly in the numbers, and now with a little tick down at the end. So that's it for the numbers section. So what we'll do now is, whilst I take a seat and we'll have a chat to Kellie and to Kirsten, Julie Lazinski from our Western Sydney team has a new opportunity, a technology opportunity in Western Sydney to talk to us about. So if you could pop that up for us, Jaden.
Hi everyone, it's Julie Lazinski here from P2P Parramatta, Permanent Manager for Greater Western Sydney. Just wanted to bring to your attention a really great assignment that our temporary team is currently working on for a global pharmaceutical organisation located in Western Sydney. It's for an immediate start for an experienced sales administrator supporting a small sales team pulling various reports and working very extensively on Salesforce. If you are available immediately, would like to take the opportunity of securing a role that could lead to permanent within a global organisation, please give me a call on the details below for a confidential conversation. And to let you know as well, the assignment is paying $35 an hour. Thank you.
That was a good opportunity. So technology in Western Sydney. If you're interested in that Salesforce administrator's role, then I think Jaden has already put the contact details for Julie just in the comments there. So jump onto that. She'll be really keen to hear from you. I don't even think it's that new, that job, that it hasn't even been advertised on job boards at this point. So if you are interested, then jump on that. But now let's go to Kellie from our Melbourne team. And Kellie, you've got a couple of opportunities to speak to us about, yeah?
Yes. So, hi, Mark. How are you going?
I'm very well indeed. I'm here with Kirsten. It's our first
Kellie.
time while we've got
Hello.
this multiple thing going on.
Yeah.
So,
it's like I'm on a radio show.
Yeah, it is. It's weird, like the whole podcast room thing. It's we've got to work out how to get it going properly, I think. But you've got a few jobs in finance. Well, actually, before you tell us about that, how's the market down there?
So we're definitely experiencing an influx of demand in my team at the moment, as the market gets some more confidence and our hiring managers get that green light. So been really exciting week in temp and contract this week. So we have got over 8 roles at the moment within phone-based customer service, more specifically within the financial services sector. So
that's interesting, given that we've just seen in the US that finances and financial services are really picking up. So you're seeing that in Melbourne as well, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. So we're looking for candidates that come from financial lending and also the insurance sector. And interestingly enough, as I watched that video of the flood and the water in Sydney, some of the jobs that we are getting called in are in relation to the influx of inquiries that insurance companies have been receiving. So, so we're looking for experienced candidates in banking and finance that have also come from superannuation and have a general understanding of the home loan process as well. Or they've worked in a heavily regulated process-driven role. So these opportunities that we're recruiting are CBD-based, 6-month opportunities with the potential for permanency, paying $30 an hour plus super.
Great. All right. So 8+ customer service roles in Melbourne CBD, about $30 an hour. Yeah. Is there any other benefits that we should be aware of for those roles?
Yeah. So like a number of our clients at the moment, these roles are offering a mixture of work from home and work from the office. And you'd also have the luxury of working with very experienced trainers that have been in the business for over 5 years. They do a buddy system and also a mix of classroom training. And I think the diversity of the role and the technicality of the information is also a huge selling point as well. So, quite interesting roles.
That's really cool. To see that work is coming through. Probably not cool if you're facing all these flood issues.
Yes.
But it's great to see those opportunities arise for people. And if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
Yeah, definitely. So Jaden will share a link to a job ad, or alternatively, please feel free to pick up the phone and give me a call on 9098 7435.
Fantastic. Rightio, Kelly. Well, thank you for calling in from our Melbourne office. Lots going on down there. Great to see the Victorian market progressing that way, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Yes, so let's now to you, Kirsten. How weird is this?
It's a little bit intimate now.
Yeah, is that like we're one? Are we 1.5 meters away from each other?
I don't know.
So you've got firstly, you've got a blog that you've written and you want to talk to us about. Yeah.
So I took a bit of a longer break over the summer, as a lot of the consultants did, and when I came back, I was quite curious to think about the return to the office environment. What were my clients doing? What did candidates want? Because there's a lot of ads out there that are saying, yep, work from home being available and so on. So I started doing a bit of research, and I'm just going to make sure I quote it right. I looked at 2 surveys, one conducted by Nintex, who are a workflow management automation company, and the other by PwC, Big Four.
Yep.
And whilst I won't quote the stats, but the percentages show that the senior executives love working from home, and you can imagine you get lots more done and so on. But remarkably, those which I'm going to call junior, or they stated an age range of 18 to 24 years of age, workers in those brackets, there was a larger majority that actually wanted to come back into the office. And as an ex-school teacher and a trainer, I can see why. I think the people in the earlier stages of their career will want that training. They'll want that support and that mentorship. Also, people like to come to work for people. So that social interaction. If everyone's working from home on a Friday, where does Friday drinks go? Where's that opportunity to meet with your colleagues out of hours and really build that bond? So the articles and my blog covered the less experienced staff or newer to their roles, staff members really wanting to come back into the office. So I'd ask any managers to think about that as you're encouraging these hybrid models. And the other element I covered off was existing staff members at all levels within their careers who are looking for that next step up. So I know when I was a more intermediate level recruiter, I'd say, and I really wanted to get that progression opportunity and whatnot, I looked to my senior colleagues for assistance and development and just live in the moment guidance. And that's probably the thing that gets lost and that I'm most passionate about, is that in the moment opportunity to go to a senior colleague, not even necessarily a manager, but to go to someone and say, what would you do in this situation? I'm about to make this call.
And in real time, isn't it? So that's
real
the thing,
time.
like right there, you can hear what the person is saying, and that's really the very interesting. So, Jaden, if you've got that, do you have a link to the blog? Make sure we put that up there. And what's wrong?
Sorry, Jaden, it's actually on the People2People website.
Oh, you haven't sent it through?
I haven't sent it to Jaden, so we can get that.
You can jump on that. I'd be really interested if for comments. So you got the chance to comment on the actual blog post as well. So either whether it's on live on any of the broadcasts, but on the blog post as well. What was your experience in coming back? What are you frightened of in coming back into the workplace, etc.? Really keen to hear about that. But you've also got some jobs you want to talk to us about.
So these are actually 2 jobs that are being looked after by James. James Dalton is one of the senior consultants in the accounting and finance permanent recruitment team in Sydney. And he's got quite a unique property/finance manager role. It sits in a property development and construction business. And what makes this role different to a regular finance day-to-day business as usual finance manager is that you're actually tasked to develop relationships with banking and non-bank lenders to get their financing going for all the projects that are in the pipeline, I guess. So this is a really high growth business. They're looking for someone who's got a track record of closing those end-to-end deals, based in the Sydney CBD, and looking at a salary of around 160 to 180 plus super. And I'm pretty safe to say there are bonuses and incentives on offer in this role.
And is that a work from home thing as well? Is that
there is a bit of a blend in that business, but being in the city and being new for this business, they want them in there. In there a little bit. Yeah, I hope I've quoted James correctly there. But the next role is something that is a position that is quite different. So it's called a product services consultant. And that role is for someone who is either done a similar role before in the software and technology space, or, and this is why we're working on it in accounting, we're really open to candidates who've got a legal accounting background, because the business sells and offers consulting services for legal software. So we filled it before. We filled this type of role before with someone who's making that move out of legal accounting.
Yep.
So they can be at the clerical end, they can be up to finance manager level from that accounting roles within the legal sector, because they then will have been familiar with either this software or a similar one. So salary-wise, we're looking up to around the 100 as a package, depending on experience. So if you're a little bit newer to the legal accounting market, you can expect the salary to be adjusted there. Again, in the Sydney CBD, it's a really growth industry. You know, there's lots of new providers in the legal accounting software space. And we see it when we recruit for our own law firms.
Where they're asking for these systems now. There's more opportunity, more different types of systems. Yeah. Okay.
And this role excites us because it's offering a new career path for accountants.
Yeah.
So I was a school teacher once upon a time. I'm a recruitment consultant. So I'm quite passionate about providing people new career streams off whatever their core skills were previously.
Great. All right. Now, I nearly said fabulous. And I'm into fabulous and fantastic.
Yeah, well, I think this role's fantastic because it offers that transition, that new career for you.
Well, if I ever say it, can you just walk over and give me a big punch? Say, stop saying it. Righto. Okay. Well, thanks, Kirsten. That's so a couple of really, really good opportunities there here in Sydney CBD. You can give Kirsten a call on what's the best number?
8270-9720.
And what about James, if they wanted to get in touch with James?
He's 8270-9702.
Oh.
So we're very good. Just
so, yeah,
those two numbers around. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Great. All right. Okay. Well, thanks for that. So now the last thing that we'd like to do today is to have a quick look at our Twitter poll. So last week we were asking specifically, and this is really related to some of the research that we're doing for our market review, the P2P post, which will be coming out in the next month or so. And do you want to pop those? There you are. So what do you look for in an employer? Now, there just really wasn't that. I thought there would be clearer result, but it turns out number one is salary. So we got 437 votes, and look, it is the Twitterverse. So you got to say that how representative is that? But a third, 35%, said that salary is the most important. But that's interesting in itself that it's only a third, whereas the most important things are a quarter each is flexibility and meaningful work. Now, that meaningful work thing, that didn't exist about 10, 15 years ago, did it?
And interestingly, flexibility is going to be the norm. I'm just looking.
Yeah, it's not really a benefit.
It's not. Well, we're going to say that in our next market report. For years, we've been looking at benefits that companies offer, and flexibility and the ability to come and go to family commitments always was number one. Well, now it's not even going to rate because it's an expectation and it's the norm. So people are looking for meaningful work. I think coming out of a really unusual year, one like we've never had before last year, people are looking for that affirmation in the workplace. Yeah.
Perspective, isn't it? And only 16% wanted career progression. Wow. That's a very interesting result. So what about this week? So we thought we'd go a little bit controversial this week. So have you ever witnessed sexual harassment in the workplace?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big question, and I'll be really interested to hear what the results are. So jump online to @people2people on Twitter. It'll be pinned to the top there, that survey, and tell us, have you ever witnessed sexual harassment in the workplace? So that brings us to the end of the broadcast today. Thank you, Kirsten, for joining us in the new environment
and the nature coming in there. It's great.
And in person. So join us again next week, 12:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Daylight Saving's nearly ending. I think next Friday. Next Friday is actually
Sunday. Easter Sunday.
Easter Sunday is when they switch over. Next Friday is actually Good Friday. So we won't see you then. We'll see you the Friday afterwards, and it'll be standard time at that time. So we'll see you then. Thanks for joining us, and I hope everybody has a great Easter.
Julie just